Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chad Gilfillan, Senior Vice President, Investment Banking at Red Cloud Securities. We would like to extend our thanks to Oberon for sponsoring this session. Joining us next is Peter Dazzler and Cory Belyk of CanAlaska Uranium to talk about all the work they're doing in Saskatchewan and Manitoba with uranium and nickel projects. Cory, you'll have 15 minutes followed by 5 minutes of questions. Anybody who has any questions to ask, please write them in and we'll get to them as best as we can. And with that, Cory, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thank you, Chad. It's a real pleasure to be here today with Peter to tell the CanAlaska story. And thank you to you and to Red Cloud and really to all the investors out there listening into this presentation. We're focused on uranium, but we've also got a great copper and nickel story. And really, together, it's all about investing in that carbon-free energy. And CanAlaska has a portfolio that is really, we think, incredible and delivering results. Standard disclaimer slide, we have to do this. But what I really want to say is that we believe we're on the cusp of major discoveries. And why do we say that? Because in 2021, we had an incredible year in the Athabasca Basin. We had 3 new discoveries on 3 different projects, starting with our Waterbury South project, where we own it 100%. We intersected a brand new zone of polymetallic uranium mineralization, which we're currently following up. In the summer, we drilled our West Macarthur project, a joint venture with Cameco. We extended our 42 zone and extended the prospectivity along strike quite considerably with that program. We'll talk about that today. And following that, our new joint venture with Denison at our Moon Lake South JV intersected multiple zones of new uranium mineralization along a productive corridor right near the Griffin and Phoenix deposits. So we're really excited about 2021 as we make these discoveries. We continue to do new staking and working on deals to bring outside investment into our portfolio. Corporate structure, we're a well-structured company. This is outdated by about 10 days, but 102 million shares outstanding. We've got about $15 million in the banks. We're well funded and we're ready for that upturn. The price of uranium today is hovering around $50 uranium, just changed in the last 10 days. Looking good. Our stock price is moving along with it. And again, we're making discoveries. And more importantly, management is invested right along with the shareholders. We have 4% right now and 8.5% fully diluted. So we're along for the ride with the shareholders and we're ready for that upturn. We've built an incredible team in the last 6 months or so, really fleshing out that technical aspect of CanAlaska and rebuilding it for what we see ahead of us in terms of the uranium and nickel markets. We've got 140 years at least of experience in the Athabasca Basin now on the team, multiple discoveries, whether it's connected to Cigar Lake, Eagle Point, Fox Lake. The team knows what they're looking for. We've brought in the talent and they've recognized the potential within our portfolio and they're very happy to be along with CanAlaska for 2022. We pride ourselves on being that hybrid model, that active explorer and the project generator. We research, we acquire, we do deals, all geared towards discovery. We want to increase the capital gain for our shareholders without diluting significantly the present shareholder base. We're active in the uranium space. That's our love. That's our forte in the Athabasca Basin. That's where we're currently making a lot of discoveries. But in the low period for uranium, we developed an incredible nickel portfolio in the neighboring province of Manitoba and the Thompson Nickel Belt. We've also got copper assets in BC, the Quesnel Trough, and also in Manitoba. So we've got an incredible portfolio here. Alone, 300,000 hectares or 740,000 acres of land in the Athabasca Basin. We had a great year in 2021, as I mentioned. We had multiple new discoveries on 3 projects in the Athabasca Basin. We also drilled copper mineralization in Quesnel early in the year with our new partner, Almanica. All through that time, we've been doing deals, generating new land and projects, and looking for outside partnerships to help advance this portfolio. So we had an incredible 2021. The business scenario for uranium has really never been better. New and ongoing projects and builds continue to happen. We've seen the market, turning really positive and really increasing because of the introduction of what is SMR, small modular reactors. And over and above the large reactors that are out there being built or planned, you've got small modular reactors coming into play now. And this is not new technology. This has been around for a long time. It's just being applied to civilian use. What this really means is that supply-demand gap is ever increasing and will continue to increase. And we're going to need even more uranium to be found and put into production. 2022, Coming through that incredible 2021, we're going to advance a number of these projects. First off, Waterbury South. We plan on drilling that new polymetallic mineralized zone right now in Q1 of 2022, currently drilling there. We're just going to get started on our Manterbridge project in Manitoba with our new partner, Metal Energy. Stay tuned for news from that for the next few months. And then in the summer, we're going to go back to West Macarthur, where we had incredible success in 2021, and we're going to continue to advance that project. Key extension, brand new project for us, very near to the Key Lake mine and mill of Cameco and Orano, just 15 kilometers away and on that main structure, barely tested by drilling. Again, a new project for CanAlaska. And there will certainly be other news as we continue to do deals or increase our holdings through land acquisition. Speaking of land acquisition, we've got an incredible portfolio in the Athabasca Basin, 300,000 plus hectares alone in and around the basin margins on key projects that have high potential for discovery. We've also been busy developing a large land holding in the nickel belt in Thompson, Manitoba, next door to Saskatchewan, where we've got 230,000 hectares in the sulfide nickel space, along with our copper assets in British Columbia. An incredible portfolio geared towards clean energy metals, uranium, copper, and nickel. For uranium, our portfolio spans shallow, mid-depth, and deep targets. Anything from an Arrow or Eagle Point analog around the basin margins through to mid-depth like Cree East or Cigar Lake, right through to Macarthur River type targets in the deeper sandstone. This deeper sandstone is not to be avoided. It can actually provide an advantage where you see large alteration halos associated with a tier 1 mineralizing event like Cigar and Macarthur, where we can use that to vector into what are pearls on a string that are these deposits in the Athabasca Basin. We're focused on Waterbury South currently with this drill program right now as we speak, just 7 kilometers away from the Cigar Lake mine, where we've intersected a brand new discovery of polymetallic uranium mineralization with an alteration halo that's 400 meters wide, 150 to 200 meters up into the sandstone, getting grades of nickel and arsenic in the 2.5% range along with zinc and cobalt and 100 times the background uranium. This is what the fringe of a Cigar Lake might look like. The fringe of a hurricane zone of isoenergies might look like, and what a Key Lake deposit looks like. Key Lake itself averaged 2.5% nickel. So this is what we're looking for. This is the fingerprint of one of these large unconformity polymetallic uranium deposits in the Athabasca Basin. Again, we're drilling that right now. We're excited about the results we had in 2021, and we're really excited about what might be in front of us in 2022. In and around the critical infrastructure at Waterbury is Cameco's Rabbit Lake Mill sitting idle. It needs feed. Orano's McLean Lake Mill taking Cigar Lake feed right now. When Cigar Lake runs out of ore, there's no tier 1 deposit that's going to feed the McLean Lake Mill. There's a strategic advantage to CanAlaska's portfolio at Waterbury South. West Macarthur, down around the Macarthur River mine, the world's richest uranium mine, 650 million pounds at Macarthur River. We're 12 kilometers away. We're on trend from Cameco's Fox Lake deposit, 70 million pounds at 8%. We're already drilling 8% uranium at our 42 zone in West Macarthur, and we extended the exploration corridor to the southwest with the 2021 program. We're going to be following up these results in 2022. We look for pearls on a string at West Macarthur. We're going to be drilling this in the summer. We intersected additional mineralization at the 42 zone, and we followed up testing of targets to the southwest on this image to the left, where we thought there was potential for additional mineralization. Again, looking for these large alteration halos associated with the Cigar Lake or Macarthur River. We believe we found that in and around the 42 zone, where we're drilling 8% uranium. Last year, we successfully extended the 42 zone mineralization, and it looks to be wider. We had a lot of core loss. We rely on radiometric data. Assays are pending. So stay tuned for some results from West Macarthur 42 zone. So that's looking even better at 42 zone. 2 kilometers away, we found that main controlling structure that's hosted the Fox Lake deposit, host the 42 zone. Now we've got it with alteration, just like we see at Cigar and Macarthur, just like we see at 42 zone, just like we see at Waterbury South. Multiple new targets have been identified 2 kilometers away from 42 zone, where we're drilling 8% uranium. Assays are pending on these targets as well. That program was finished in November, so stay tuned for results. But we've identified an incredible mineralized system, altered system associated with 42 zone and the Fox Lake deposits. Think of it as a corridor. We've developed new uranium targets in 2021 that we're going to follow up in 2022. Again, the Key Lake Mill, post Macarthur River, needs new feed. We have a strategic opportunity to feed that mill in 15 years when Macarthur River's ore runs out. Our partners, Cameco, clearly interested in finding feed for Key Lake. We've got an incredible portfolio with new exploration opportunities in it away from these projects we've just talked about. All of these are available for joint venture funding. In fact, we're working on a number of deals to, as we've announced, to bring some new funding into these projects. But it really is a portfolio that is second to none. Again, 300,000 hectares in and around the Athabasca Basin, partnerships with Cameco and Denison, again, trying to move these all forward and develop new projects through staking, acquisition, and ultimately deals. Cree East is one that's sitting out there. This is a giant project for us. It's 30 kilometers by 30 kilometers in size of Greater Toronto, Greater New York, think of it that way, looking for a football field. We've got 9 zones of mineralization and enrichment already identified at Cree East. We own it 100%. Land standing is good. We're waiting for that right partnership and the right uranium market to bring that significant funding in here to move these projects forward. We've already identified good uranium. We've already identified polymetallic zones, just like Waterbury South or Cigar Lake, on this project. So again, waiting for the right partnership to come forward and move this project forward. We did a deal in September of last year, just ahead of the last market upturn here in September, where we got access to a land position that is 15 kilometers away from the Key Lake mine and mill, Cameco's Key Lake mine and mill. This is an extension of the Key Lake fault that's host to 150 million pounds of past production of uranium at the Key Lake operation. This has not been touched with recent exploration. It hasn't been drilled since the 70s, but we have the extension of that structure on our property, we believe. And we're going to go in here and do some geophysics, and we're going to target drill holes on this for later in the year, targeting September for drilling. This is an incredible project that is really hard to get access to in the world's most prolific uranium district, the Eastern Athabasca. Incredible story developing in uranium, but nickel. We've got a part 2 to CanAlaska. In the low nickel period or low uranium price period, we developed an amazing nickel portfolio, sulfide nickel portfolio in the Thompson Nickel Belt, right up against Vale's Thompson Belt Holdings. This is the world's second largest producer of sulfide nickel, that being Vale. We're the second largest landholder in and amongst the Thompson Nickel Belt with Vale. And we've got an exciting array of projects here. This belt was largely ignored, hasn't seen exploration really for the last 30 or 40 years. And we're applying new geophysics to it. And we're going to get in here and find deals and do deals to move these projects forward. And one of those deals is with Metal Energy. We're just getting ready to start that program, the inaugural program with Metal Energy at our Manor project at the southwest portion of the belt. So stay tuned for news out of Metal Energy and CanAlaska in the coming months. In and around Manor Bridge and the rest of the Thompson Belt, we've been adding to the land position where it made sense, where land came open. We already had nickel identified, significant intersections like 16 meters of 0.5% nickel, up against 900,000 tons of 1.2% nickel. So incredible projects here, 32 kilometers of identified structures with existing nickel mineralization, really hasn't been touched in several decades. We're applying some advanced geophysics on this, setting up for the next round of drilling on these projects. Again, geared toward that clean energy battery supply that is uranium, copper, and nickel. Speaking of copper, we also have copper in our portfolio. We drilled early in 2021 our Mouse Mountain project with Almanica. Almanica did the drilling, but they earned into that project and they intersected copper in that first program. Stay tuned for further results from that copper belt moving forward. We've also got great projects in Manitoba, right near the Rattan copper zinc mine, that large VMS deposit, third largest underground VMS mine in Canada historically. We've got a target the same size, looks the same, already has mineralization identified. So waiting for the right partnership to move these copper assets forward. So CanAlaska has an incredible portfolio of uranium, copper, and nickel. The uranium is definitely responding to our exploration in 2021. We've got 3 projects all advancing forward with new discoveries, and we're looking to move those forward again in 2022. In fact, at West Macarthur, we plan on doubling that budget in 2022 to move what we see as an exciting array of targets identified from 2021 forward in 2022. So we're advancing new discoveries, we're ticking all the boxes, and we really do believe that we're on the cusp of major discoveries in our uranium, nickel, and potentially copper portfolios. It's fantastic, and we look forward to 2022. Thank you for your attention.
Thanks a lot, Cory. That was a great overview. Packed in a lot in a short amount of time. So a lot on the go. Just curious what the cash position is relative to a budget for the year and how that looks for CanAlaska.
So our current cash position is $15 million. That's on the heels of a successful raise in closing in November of last year. Our budget as planned right now is roughly 7, maybe 8 million in Saskatchewan on the uranium projects. So a bulk of that will be focused into uranium. And we continue to look for deals to bring more money into the uranium space and also into the nickel space to advance those projects. So we're really staying focused on uranium, but also recognizing the incredible nickel portfolio that we have at play.
Yeah, I'd highlight you have not a unique business model, but an interesting one in that you're both explorers and project generators. Usually groups pick one or the other. Then what most notably the nickel portfolio stands out of having enough breadth of its own. Is there potentially an idea of what to do with those outside of CanAlaska, and if there was there any timing that you'd look to do something with?
Yeah, you know, that those are business considerations that we're certainly looking at because, you know, as you saw with the nickel portfolio, it is really large. It's second to Vale's. So it has a heft in its own, and it's got the right geology, we feel, and it's a belt that's been largely ignored with current methodology. So yeah, it has a lot of potential within it. So it probably is well suited to start thinking about moving that into a vehicle that allows absolutely some benefit back to CanAlaska and its shareholders. So stay tuned. But in that absence, we're looking for partnerships to move those projects forward, as we've done with Metal Energy. You know, that's bringing in up to $4 million of investment on just one of those little project portfolios in the Thompson Belt that, you know, could lead to some pretty good success. So we're pretty excited about working with Metal Energy to move Manabridge forward. So those are the types of things we're looking to do to bring value back to CanAlaska shareholders.
It's been a unique field seasons for people managing COVID and weather and the permitting backup and assay backup. Just curious, how are things going for you in the field right now, and so just for news flow basis?
We're absolutely well ahead of the game here. We started drilling in late January, early February at Waterbury South. We're just currently going to be starting in Manitoba on the Manabridge project with Metal Energy. Stay tuned for that in the next week or so. But we haven't had a lot of permitting challenges this year. We got out of the gate really early. The weather's been very good to us. We're having no troubles advancing any of these in terms of exploring in Q1 of 2022. So we anticipate a good year ahead on that front. We're not facing any significant challenges as of today on any of our exploration programs in the basin or in Manitoba.
That's great. And it'd be great to hear from Peter. Peter, I know your shareholders appreciate it. I know you have a good view on the market. So curious your thoughts on the uranium price, where things look like they're going, and yeah, just your thoughts would be appreciated.
Well, there's several things I have to say there. You know, the team that Cory's assembled is capable and able to get out there, and with the funding they've got, they're capable and able of making new discoveries. And I think it's all about timing. We've seen just overnight the uranium price go over $50, but that puts tier 1 projects into production. You're going to have to go a lot higher than that to get tier 2 projects into production. And we believe that there are insufficient tier 1 projects to satisfy the demand. So we're going to see a continued increase in the uranium price. Once new tier 1 projects are identified and brought on stream, you may see us settling back down on the uranium price. But, you know, we're quite happy to chase those tier 1 discoveries in the Athabasca. You know, we see production costs of $30 a pound, but tier 2, you're going to be well up over the $65, $75, $85 a pound. So it's going to be a fascinating time. We're seeing new nuclear plants. We're seeing the build out. I think we're in the right place. It's all about timing. And I think with the team that Cory's assembled, I think CanAlaska shareholders are going to have a great ride.
That's great. Cory, Peter, thanks so much for your time. Always appreciated. Look forward to seeing those results come. For viewers, on stream 1 next we have Labrador uranium, and on stream 2 we have Basin uranium. Cory, Peter, thank you again, and best of luck.
Well, thank you, Chad. We appreciate the support, and have a good conference.